In this video, I'm going to explain how we managed to preserve the wealth of our family, to preserve all the equity that's in the house of my mother and father, to pay, how we managed to pay for care at the same time, but also not to involve the council, not to involve the government, and to do all this and at the same time actually not only preserve the wealth but grow the wealth. It's in the most secure computer network in the world. This is an absolutely amazing story. When I spoke to Chatbot about it, first it was skeptical, but after I explained and went through each point one by one with Chatbot and AI over a period of days, Chatbot ended up saying that it was the most brilliant financial idea it had ever come across. So this is definitely worth listening to. So I promise to keep this video less than 10 minutes in length. It's a brief description of the situation, and I intend to go on and make lots more videos and lots more content on this because it's absolutely exciting and everybody deserves to know. So if you're in the UK, and this possibly applies to most other countries as well, I'm not sure, but the situation is that when one of your parents, or when one or both of your parents need to go into care, it's often the case that there's not enough money to pay for all of the care, at which point the council will do a means test on the wealth of your parents, on your father, on your mother, and if they come to the conclusion that your parents have more wealth than around 23 or 24,000 pounds, then the house will have to be sold to pay for the care, maybe all of the care, or just to top up the care that they've been having or that they want into the future years. So what this means is effectively that all of the equity, all of the wealth that your family, that your mother, your father have built up over many, many decades eventually just disappears. This can happen quickly. It all depends, of course, on the cost of the care home, on how much it costs above the council standard rate. There are lots of factors, but the money can disappear very, very quickly. A lot of people now, they're living longer lives. And the cruel thing about it is that once the wealth has gone, once the council has effectively used all the money in all the equity in the house, then you're back to square one anyway, with the council only paying a certain amount, and then the family has to fund the remaining balance per month themselves. So it's a really big problem that many, many families face, and this was the problem that we faced. But the good news is there's there's an absolutely brilliant alternative. However, before I explain what it is, you have to be slightly open-minded, because this new way, this absolutely fantastic solution involves, for most of you, going out of your comfort zone. So just the mention of the word Bitcoin will probably have many of you now looking to turn off this video, dismiss it, thinking, oh, this is just nonsense and everything Bitcoin. No, 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 no. The truth is, if you've reached this, if you're listening to this video, if you're watching me now, you probably absolutely need to understand what Bitcoin is, because it is a revolution, a complete and utter revolution in everything that you thought you knew until now. It was the same for me. It would be beyond the scope of this video to explain what Bitcoin is, why you can trust it, and all those things. So I'm going to proceed now with the rest of the explanation of the plan without explaining why you can trust Bitcoin more than you can trust the government, more than you can trust your bank, more than you can trust just about anything you can think of, because that would be it would take far too long. But if you're interested, I've written a book on this topic, which you'll find in the link below. And also, if you go to my website, Bitcoin Truth, I'll also include a link below. You can find out more about Bitcoin. But to proceed, let's assume that you've dug into it. You now understand how fantastic, how Bitcoin is some sort of financial miracle that you've never discovered. So let's assume that that's the case. What's the plan? The plan is this. On average, Bitcoin goes up 30 to 40% per year in value. This is projected to continue for at least the next 10 to 20 years. In my opinion, it's probably more. For the last 2 years, it's doubled in price. So what we do is we turn the whole of the care system on its head. So this is a win-win situation for everybody. You win, your parents win, the council wins, the government wins, everybody wins. There are no losers. Okay, so how does it work? The family home is sold. Of course, there will be details of that. Some people will have power of attorney, other people won't, but so the house is sold. Remember, the house has to be sold for care anyway. So the house is sold. Instead of your parents putting the money into that bank account and seeing that money slowly whittle away over the period of years, what we do instead is we turn that money into Bitcoin. So let's assume we've sold a house for £300,000, or let's say £400,000, which I think is reasonable in the UK. So on average, we've sold our house for £400,000. As of today, that would buy 4 Bitcoin. So we transform the 400,000 into 4 Bitcoin. Okay, so now you're thinking, okay, so now we have the Bitcoin, and every single month we take a little bit of the Bitcoin to pay for the care costs. And at the same time, Bitcoin increases by 30% a year. No, it's actually much better than that. In the USA now, there are lots of financial institutions that will give you a loan against your Bitcoin. So typically you can get a loan for around 10% per year. The great thing about these loans is often they don't have to be paid back per month. So you can pay them back at the end of, say, a 5-year period. So let's say we need £200,000 to cover the cost of care for our parents for the next 5 years. We borrow that, we give our Bitcoin as collateral. The Bitcoin still belongs to us, we get an address. We take out the loan, we have the 200,000. That money is then used to fund the care of our parents for the next 5 years. However, in the meantime, the Bitcoin, which still belongs to us, has grown in value on average by 30% per year. So at the end of the 5-year period, we can pay back the 200,000. We've got more than enough to pay back the 200,000 plus the 10% per year interest on that. So top of the head, let's see, 5 year, you'd probably be paying back somewhere around £270,000-280,000 with interest on the loan. However, the Bitcoin is appreciated by 30% a year. So the Bitcoin that we left as collateral, which still belongs to us, is now no longer worth 200,000, it's worth something like 500,000. So as you can see, not only have we paid for the care, we've actually grown our wealth at the same time. The council's not had to step in and help at all. It's not had to means test, we've not had to go grovelling for money, we've just simply paid for care. So the council has won, the community's won, the taxpayers won, the government's won, the families won, your parents won, everybody has won. This is the power of Bitcoin. So I'm going to end the video there, and I hope you can maybe put a like or a subscribe. Everybody always says that, so please do that. And I'm going to be creating more content where I go into this in more detail so that you can also benefit from this absolutely startlingly good idea. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.